Welcome to the Shit Slinky Made Me Watch. I'm your host, KC, here with another shitty review about shitty horror films recommended by that sumbitch Slinky. Here to talk to you about Attack of the Killer Donuts. It was released in 2016, and this movie opens with a mom and son chat, which leads to the son going to talk to his mad scientist uncle. And this uncle is trying out his new discovery on a dead rat, which he tells this rat, "It won't hurt a bit 'cause you're dead, but if you were alive, it would hurt like a motherfucker." This shot brings this rat back to life, and it's pretty pissed off. This rat attacks the uncle and starts biting on all kinds of shit and ends up escaping. A little bit later on, Johnny he arrives at work and he works at this place called the Dandy Donut. And while at work, his uncle stops by to try to get something back from him. It was a tablet or laptop or something that had something to do with his experiment was on there that he really needed. And he's been banned from this place before, and the owner did not want him there at all. So the owner comes out and starts fighting with the uncle. And while in their little scuffle, this vial of his new discovery ends up flying out of his pocket and lands in the deep fryer where they cook all the donuts. So it ends up contaminating all the donuts. And you can see where it goes from here. They end up getting mutated and turning into these killer donuts. One of the customers at the store, this lady, she ends up getting a dozen donuts and then she heads home. And when she goes to try to eat these donuts, she doesn't eat them. The donuts end up eating her. And the kill was, it looked alright. Basically, the donuts are bouncing all over the place on top of her and biting her. The gore looked okay. It wasn't too bad. The effects for these donuts looked pretty good. I'm not sure the budget on this film, but definitely the effects for these donuts did look pretty damn good. Now, after all this goes down, back at the shop, a few douchebags come in. They start giving Michelle a bunch of shit and call her like a bitch and are talking all kinds of shit, and she's talking shit right back. But after they call her a bitch, Johnny just is fed up, is not going to put up with it. He jumps over the counter and goes to try to fight this one guy. It ends up being a fight between the three of them and and Johnny. And then Michelle goes to help out and ends up pepper spraying all these guys in the face. And they all start crying because now their eyes are all burning. And the owner comes out and he's not happy at all because he's got three customers just got pepper sprayed. So he ends up firing Michelle and she goes to leave. And Johnny is just not having it. He's like, "You're not going to fire my friend. And if you're going to fire her, I'm going to leave too." So they both end up leaving the shop. And the owner is pretty mad about that. But, what else is he going to do? You can't really be fighting customers and you can't be pepper spraying them. So he just did what he had to do. Oh, damn! I guess it's time for the shit break. Now, if you don't know what the shit break is all about, the shit break is where we take a quick break from the show to let you all get your comments onto the show. All you have to do is comment on the discussion thread in our Facebook group, Horror After Midnight. You will get your thoughts onto the show. Other than that, there is a weekly meme contest. All you have to do is make up a meme about this week's episode, post it in our Facebook group, Horror After Midnight, using the hashtag SHITBREAK, and you'll be entered in a chance to win all kinds of cool prizes. We have no winner this week, but we do have a couple comments for the discussion thread. We have Terrence Main saying, "I love this movie." And then we had Doug post saying, "I have an American DVD and the German Blu-ray version of this film." Thank you both for that. And once again, there's no winner for this week. So if you want to win, all you have to do is make up a meme about this week's episode, post it in our Facebook group, Horror After Midnight, using the hashtag SHITBREAK, and you'll be entered for a chance to win all kinds of cool prizes. Now, let's get back to the show. After Johnny and Michelle both leave work, Michelle asks Johnny for a ride home. And while Johnny is driving, he ends up hitting this guy. And the guy that he hits was a guy who was in the back of a cop car earlier. And these cops got some donuts from the shop. And they end up letting him have one. And when he went to go bite into it, this weird, green puff of smoke came out of it. And the guy just started feeling really bad, but got superhuman strength. And he broke his handcuffs right off and smashes the two cops' heads together and has the strength to kick the cop door right off the car. But this is the same guy that ends up getting hit later on by Johnny, and he just looks terrible. I mean, even for a guy who just got hit by a car, he just looked really bad. and just like really sickly. He gets up and it's like just has this terrible gas and ends up like shitting his intestines out, and then there's a bunch of like green diarrhea. It was very gross, but I guess it's just trying to show you that you should not be eating these killer donuts. After finding out about these killer donuts, they go to check on this lady that bought some earlier in the movie. And Michelle, she sneaks in through the top second story window to be able to get into the house, and while inside, she ends up finding this lady's dead body, and she screams. But when she screams, Johnny gets worried thinking something's wrong, and he wants to break into the house. So he picks up a softball and he throws it at the window, and it just bounces off and hits his friend right in the face. And then right after that, he picks up a wrench and throws it at the same window, does the same thing again, and bounces off and smacks his friend in the face. And this scene, it was just really funny. You couldn't help but laugh. I really did enjoy that. It was pretty damn funny. There was a pretty dumb scene where Johnny and his friend are both getting attacked by these killer donuts. And Johnny, he's using like a pan as like a shield and like a knife to fight off all these donuts. And it just was really stupid. But this movie is very like self-aware. Like it knows it's going to be a dumbass movie, and it kind of plays right into that perfectly. A lot of funny scenes in this movie, but this shit was just stupid. And after all this goes down, these donuts end up hopping up into a cop car. And you got one donut that's like steering the wheel and another that's like pressing the gas, and they actually steal a damn cop car. That was pretty funny. But overall, this movie, it had pretty decent effects. The acting wasn't bad. The story was alright. I mean, Killer Donuts, can't believe that. It's unbelievable. It's not ever possible. So, that kind of took away from the horror aspect of it. It was definitely more on the comedy side. But overall, for this movie, I'm going to have to give it 3 shit stains. Case says, check it out. I'll be back next time to talk to you about The Mutilator. As always, stay classy, folks.